Hey everybody, and welcome back to Send News, the video game podcast where we talk all about video games. We love them. We love talking about. I feel like I spoiled it in that intro there. I'm Brian, your host. Here's the rest of the gang.
Kate,
Go
why don't
ahead.
you go?
No, after you.
So
of course.
polite. Well, I'll take it because I'm a scumbag. What's up? I'm Connor of Inside Gaming fame.
And I am Caden, also of Inside Gaming fame. And Brian and I are same shirt squad today.
Wow,
We're
look at
twinning.
you two.
That was kind of a scumbag intro. Like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. What's up? You already know who I am. So
Yeah,
I don't know why
there
I
you
should
go.
say anything.
Yo, I'm Brian.
What's up? I'm Tucker.
We're about to do some trick shots.
It's like Pong, but instead of beer, you put in pucker into the cups.
Yes, absolutely. So the big news this week, obviously, the Xbox Series X and the S. Boy, we learned a lot this week. We learned that
did.
the Xbox Series S exists. The little sibling console.
Yeah.
And then we got
It's so
pricing
cute.
info and release dates on both of them. So the Xbox Series X, no surprise, $500. But the S, the less powerful, smaller console, the all digital one, $300. That was huge. Both coming out November 10th. But again, I think the fact that a next gen console, even if it's a bit underpowered, is $300. That's pretty insane.
Oh yeah. I was writing about it all day yesterday because of a video coming out this weekend about that very thing. But like, it's gonna be super cool to see like what the like consumer base for a mid-range is what I've been calling it console.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I mean that could mean so much. That could mean a premium console market because profit-wise they're handled, they're good, so they don't need to worry about the bottom line as much in their most powerful console. It's just like the ramifications of it are pretty intense.
Yeah, and also at the same time they're beefing up Game Pass even more. If it needed to be beefier, but it is. They're adding EA Play to it. But hey, if you're a fan of the Madden franchises or any of the EA Sports stuff, that is a big deal. And,
It's huge.
God.
I mean, there's Skate on there now. You get skates.
And
What else do you need?
right, exactly. Titanfall 2, come on. No one has had a
gonna say,
chance to play that.
Titanfall 2 is so
Especially because this is especially great because the backwards compatibility is, great on Xbox, but also a little squishy, especially if you have different user accounts at play. So I've been trying to play Skate 3 on my Xbox for like a year, and it just will not start. Even if I pay for it, it's just like, sorry, I don't know what you want from me.
I don't know.
All right, I guess I just won't play
unless
this game.
you had an Xbox 360 account with this game on it, I don't know how to help you, okay?
Yeah, it's just like I paid the $2 for it.
The $2.
It broke the bank, yeah.
It really, I mean, that's
I used my whole
pricey.
inheritance.
If you're, but I feel like this is really going to help kids' sales pitch to their parents. $300.
I think so too.
Get Game Pass. I said Game Passed as a like a
Well,
previous.
that's what they call it. The present. It's a gift.
That's right. But that is a just for the $300 and then your $15 subscription or whatever it is. And I'm sure they'll probably throw in a little card where you get a month or so free. That is a crazy value.
Or you get all access and you get all those things for the like financing price.
Yep.
$25, which is actually like
It's nuts.
That's not
your
bad.
financing. No, it's probably not a discount.
It's
definitely the same amount.
It's probably like at cost or something
but
along the lines.
It wraps it
but-
up very neatly.
Yeah. But I do want to like address this. It is the smallest Xbox ever. This Xbox Series S.
Is it smaller
tiny.
than the ones?
Itty bitty. Apparently, they said
Huh.
it's the smallest Xbox ever. It's just like I kind of want it to be like this big,
Yes,
just like an
yeah.
old VHS
I'm
cassette.
actually
I want it to look like a
disappointed about the form
Roku.
factor. Well,
Yeah.
people were mocking up the Lockhart as just like you lop off the top half or the bottom half of the Series X, and then you end up with like a little GameCube shaped
I love
thing.
that idea.
Is what I thought
yeah.
was going to happen, and people were like, I think I saw some mock-ups where someone gave it like a Minecraft grass block decal. which is super funny.
That would have been
And
cute.
then it's like, and then you saw this, and it's like, all right, that's a clean, good console. It doesn't have that like
the giant
overhang
fan
that
is
the
funny.
One X does.
The giant
yeah.
fan, that
The
thing
big
is
fan
just like
is funny.
I noticed
It's
they had
really-
sent some of the mock-ups or the designs to YouTube, because I saw people kind of showing off like the size of the X and the S. There's videos already out there, so yeah, that's like I will be really interested to see how well it sells, because it's so funny. I think that just knocking it down that low, I think, has really big ramifications, or it could be, if it's adopted, because that's such a good price point to get next gen games. Yes, they're not going to be 4K, but there's also that theory that do enough people really care about 4K at this point? I mean, yes, your enthusiasts, your hardcore people will, but your casual, will mom and dad really care? I wouldn't care.
I mean,
I'm an enthusiast and I don't have a 4K TV.
Right.
I might get one for the PS4 or
Right.
5, but in that case, I'm not going to buy both consoles. I mean,
Yeah,
just like 1080 looks good.
it does. It looks fine. It
Right.
really does. But I mean, you take a look at comparatively the Series X in comparison, 12 teraflops, 4K gaming, 8K ready, up to 120 frames per second. Console gamers, you finally got there. I'm so proud of you.
It's superior. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt it's superior. I think they are banking on, have we hit a point where it's good enough that the graphics look, is it going to be that big of a leap ahead? And maybe it is, but yeah, you have to have the setup. You have to have a 4K TV.
Yeah.
There's other stuff you need to provide that optimal experience.
The Series S feels to me like the missing link, because they've been talking about like, we just, and we've been talking about it too. We just want people on Game Pass. We want people in the ecosystem.
Right.
We want people playing first party games. And it's like, you don't even have to play them on a Series X. And this whole time it's been like, so I play it on my One S, although that feels like it's going to be underpowered. And is that going to be a long-term thing, but without stepping up to the full Series X? And this is that puzzle piece that kind of makes it all make sense. Like, this is the ecosystem box.
Yeah,
this
right.
is everything you need with the stuff you already have.
That's
and the
right.
memberships you may already have, because I already have Game Pass. This is for the people that just need to get the Xbox games on it, but they don't want to play it on their old consoles. And like, it is powerful. I mean, Vice Games, they talked to multiple developers who vouched for it. And so it can play games. It's funny because it's kind of like closer to the One X than it is the Series X.
I assume it's more powerful than a One X, though. I haven't sort of seen, and people might not know for sure at this point.
It is. I can't remember which. It has some similar parts. I can't remember if it's CPU or GPU to the Series X, but it is capable of ray tracing. And ray shading, which the One X I don't think is, but the One X does play games at true 4K, not upscaling.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a weird kind of like, the tectonic plates don't quite overlap. It's sort of a meshing of a fissure.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean that explains why the One X has been pulled from shelves. I mean,
this is their
close.
replacement for that.
Cousins.
Right. They don't want people buying that anymore. Yeah.
No.
Here's the question, though.
It would have shot them in the foot.
Here's the question, though. How do you feel about it not having a disk drive? I understand that everything's, being pushed towards digital, but there's still a lot of people not wanting to give up those discs, and to have this like mid-range console not have a disk drive. It kind of feels like they're gently encouraging the people who are, maybe lesser off and they don't have, $500 to spend. They're saying, so it's like, well, you can have the all digital one. You're not going to be able to share games with your friends.
Yeah. That is a trade-off. I think things are moving that way. I wonder how many people will actually miss that. I think some will. I'm physical, if I can. So I would. And if it was, for me, if I'm going to buy one of those, it would probably still be a Series X. But that's also kind of how you get that price low too.
But you're not paying $200 more for a disc drive. You're
You're
paying
not.
$200
You
more
aren't.
for incredible hardware.
That's right.
and,
That's
like,
right.
It's I'm assuming that the Series S is going to be much louder than the Series X.
I'd assume so.
Just going off the fan, but also that seems like a pretty obvious trade-off to
It'll
me.
probably be whisper
It's-
quiet.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing like
Minecraft.
I can't hear it at all.
I think that's just where things are headed, and I mean, getting the price down, that's more important than having a disc drive, especially
suppose
if you look
so.
at the numbers. And also, like, it's not that you're paying $200 more for a disc drive. It's just that because you're paying $200 more, you would start to say, like, why isn't there a disc drive if there
Right.
weren't one?
Right.
I really
the
do
Xbox
agree.
Series X has to have everything.
It
has
has
to have every bell and
right.
whistle.
It's the top of the line. Yeah.
Right.
Then-
And I wouldn't be surprised if there were a $450 version of it or $400 down the line. It doesn't have a disc drive. It's
Yep.
kind of like the
Yes.
the
Can I get
the
a
3.5 millimeter.
$350? Can I get a
Well, it's like the
350
headphone
version of the
jack on
Xbox Series S with
smartphones.
a disc version? 'Cause
Yeah,
I'd love that.
It's like the headphone jack on smartphones. Everyone's like, "What? A phone without a headphone jack? That's insane. How am I gonna?" And then people just kind of like
It's fine.
put up
Yeah.
with it because that's what the company has deemed.
Right.
and
It took courage. All right, it took courage, is what.
Well, I have a phone without a headphone jack, and I got wireless headphones, and I love them. And I also buy digital games, so like,
Yep.
I'll cope if it means moving forwards in performance.
I mean, the thing is at a certain point, they're just not going to give you an option. And that's really what happened, again, with the headphone jacks and phones. They just stopped giving you an option. It's just like, you can either buy this phone that we have, no headphone jack, or go away. And it's just like, okay, I guess I go away or I buy your phone. And
Right.
I think that that's kind of the standpoint that's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
Which leads into the fact of the, more storage without compromise, the Xbox Series X storage expansion cards, the proprietary memory sticks. We're back on this nonsense.
Cannot believe the Series S has a 500 gig SSD.
That
I
is
know.
nuts. So it
That
can
is so low.
it can hold half of Modern Warfare. That's
I
awesome.
Yeah,
can't wait to
right,
play
like-
half of Halo Infinite and then have to uninstall that half and then install disc 2.
Right. And like
Old school.
it's like Titanic. I mean, it's just like I wonder if that was the last big movie that came out on double DVDs. Anyway, I totally forgot my train of thought. Now I'm just thinking about Leo.
I'm just thinking about working
He's
in a
distracting.
movie. I'm just thinking about working in a movie theater, which I did when Titanic came out, and
Oof.
man, that was rough. Those theaters were filthy after a 3.5 hour movie.
Oh God!
Ugh.
I heard the theaters are filthy now that they just cold shut down when the pandemic started, and it's like shit all around, like snacks, and it's gotten mildewy, and like it's not properly
Is that
ventilated.
true? They didn't.
That's what I was.
I
That's
mean,
what a friend
I
of mine
believe
told
This
it.
feels
me.
like a fairy tale. Well, you're probably right.
Yeah, but it feels like a fun kind of like urban legend. Like,
Yeah,
I heard,
exactly.
dude, that the movie theaters are underwater. My friend Jared's cousin went inside a Cinemark.
But
It's like the lost city of Atlantis.
yeah, exactly. What one thing I was thinking of too, though, I think that will play to the Xbox Series S's favor is that I think it has the potential to jump out to an early lead for both of them. But they're kind of banking on the fact that when consoles launch, they typically don't have good launch lineups. Like nobody has like the big time exclusives haven't rolled out yet. A lot of the games are cross gen. I think that really plays to Xbox's favor here because
so.
With Game Pass and everything, it's like cool. Well, yeah, we don't have like Halo Infinite out yet, but look, the PlayStation 5 doesn't really have that much either. So who would you rather be with? Because you can have Game Pass right now and just play a shitload of stuff, and what,
Yeah.
maybe Miles Morales, I think might be the big, PlayStation 5
I
exclusive.
think Miles
which
Morales
is
is
good.
like the big pull for next gen in general. It's just
Yeah.
like, here's this launch lineup, and everybody's just like, so what do we talk about right now? Is it
Right.
Spider-Man? Because we pretty much just got Spider-Man.
Which is fine,
That's
and it does
Sony's
look good.
whole thing.
Yeah, but it's not a full game.
Right.
It's a little bit more limited. So I think that could really help Microsoft, at least in that first 6-month period.
Yeah, I think if you look at it in a short term, sort of sense that it'll play out well. I think for initial sales going into holiday, I think that I think PS5 is going to get a huge boost from Spider-Man that Xbox won't have.
Yeah.
Because Sony's whole thing is just making a smokescreen. Because I remember when I bought the PS4, I was like, whoa, Infamous Second Son is so dope. And then I finished it.
And then what?
And I was like, yeah, I really was like, well, I guess I just have this box.
Right.
And I just have to wait until another game comes out for it. And but I wasn't thinking about that when I wanted a PS4. I was like, holy shit, I need this right now.
There was that one game in your mind. Yeah, it was like with the Switch and Breath of the Wild, even though that was on the Wii U too. But that was a Breath of the Wild machine for everyone for the first month.
That was a dense full game. Spider-Man is going to dominate the news cycle for only like maybe 2 weeks.
No,
and of course it'll be talked about for longer, but it's going to be like boom. And that's not even factoring in like the lead up embargo stuff. Like that's the question is, will that last through the holidays? Probably. I think that Sony's going to outperform because of that.
Yes.
What was the Xbox One like immediate launch lineup? Like it came out
cable TV.
Because I'm trying to think back, and it's like, what was the game I bought on Xbox One? Because I bought, the PS4 and the Xbox One at the same time. Oh yeah, okay.
I think it was Rise. I think Sunset Overdrive might have been a launch title.
No, Sunset Overdrive was a while. It was a couple.
Oh, was it?
It was a couple months. It was about 9 months after, I believe. Game's great. I love Sunset Overdrive. But
the best exclusive it had for maybe
it
still.
Really, I mean, it really is.
It might still be.
I remember.
It explains
I was trying
why
to
they
think
got
of
Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
You play that game, and you're like, oh, of course.
But I think the only game the game I bought for like at launch that was like, I think I bought Assassin's Creed 4 because I'm just like, what do I buy on this?
All my friends were playing that when they got Xbox Ones.
Yeah.
Which I thought everybody was getting because all my friends played on it. Turns out, no.
What did PS4 have? Knack and
Resogun.
Resogun, that's right. Again, the two games that everybody played Resogun and then Assassin's Creed 4. And that was it.
I forget what I got.
Slaps.
I forget what I got with the PS4 because I kept the PS3 for a long time and was like busy with that. I feel like Bloodborne was probably the first thing that was like, yeah, this is the good. This is the exclusive I want, and then kind of some smaller stuff, maybe like Destiny and stuff like that. But yeah, it's always a thing with the beginning where it's like, there's a few things, there's like a FIFA game and some other things, but Spider-Man's a good choice, even if it's not a full game, but they're like, we need something.
And I think to be,
right. Yeah, it doesn't need to be anything
even if it's
other
just
than
a 12-hour game.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they showed Miles Morales, they showed the gameplay off, and I'm just like, okay. I mean, Spider-Man on PS4 was probably my game of the generation just because of how much fun I had with it.
It was
Not
great.
For like
yes,
text
it was
or
great.
anything else like that. It was just so fun and so enjoyable. Loved all the DLC. 100% completed it 4 times. I loved it so much. The moment they're just like, here's a Miles Morales story in between this and a full sequel. I'm just like, okay,
sold.
Money.
Yeah.
Man, we were just talking about 2018 in terms of releases last night. Red Dead, Spider-Man, God of War. What
insane.
The fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like,
so
that was
good.
all 1 year. What the hell? Fuck.
It was a legendary year for gaming.
It was, yeah. I don't know if it was quite, what was it, 1998 has always kind of held up, and a few others, but yeah, it was
good year.
Good vintage.
I think it's going to be similar in some way. I mean, Sony is fighting the last war. I mean, they're fighting like, look, we're going to have a bunch of good exclusives, starting with Spider-Man. You have to come to us to get this stuff. We're going to have a Horizon Zero Dawn sequel. And at this point, they're kind of like, look, you can trust us. We're going to deliver some good exclusives. Whereas Microsoft, a different proposition at this point. Like Microsoft is more, we've got quantity. Not that they don't have quality, but like they're really selling you on the like, you can kind of get a Netflix of games experience with us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're
and
all
X
kind of
Cloud.
like doing different things.
And xCloud, yeah.
That's like less than a week away. I'm excited to try that out.
I wish I could play it on my phone. I wish they could sort
I know
that
I have a
stuff out.
stupid iPhone. I know. I feel the same
Oh, look
way.
at you. Look at you being all...
I knew there was a reason I bought a Pixel 4.
I do have an Android though. I do have a sister phone to this one that I can use for things, and I'm interested to see how it works on it because it's a little bit older, but also I like the fact that like, I mean, heck, it just sounds cool. So it's like, yeah, I want to play Halo on my phone.
Right.
Oh, I can play Halo on my phone. Is it going to be a perfect experience? I'm not going online with it. Absolutely not. But it's just for me to play Halo single player. Great, fantastic, good.
Yeah. What do y'all think about the PS5, like in terms of pricing and things like that? Do you think they're gonna have a surprise for us, or do you think it's just gonna I don't know. I'm curious as to what everybody thinks.
I think, I mean, I've seen speculation that it's going to be price match, $500 for the PS5,
Yeah.
$450 for the discless version. I am not as informed as other people, but I also feel like it's not unrealistic of the possibility that they could do $500 for the discless to be able to compete in a pure price to price, and then have $550 for the people that want to shell out for the disc drive. I don't think that's completely impossible.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's just, we've heard so much about it being so expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want it to be 500, but I'm also like kind of like ready for that to happen as well.
I just don't think Sony can come out and like with a straight face look into the camera again and say $599 US. I don't think they can do it without people just ridiculing and shaming them.
Yes, it would be memed to death immediately. Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, there would be a lot
generally...
of like PS5 pictures in like this ratty hovel, like an ice fishing hut.
But I mean, I
had to cut costs.
Consoles sell at a loss anyway. I mean, they just do. It is a historic thing.
That's
very
true.
few consoles sell either at cost or at profit. Very, very, very rarely. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sony just price matched this and then, you know, had the discless version be slightly cheaper. And, you know, it's like, hey, ours is better, more powerful. It doesn't have the stupid memory sticks. We learned our lesson from the Vita. We're not going to do that to you again.
The worst.
So
all I can
mean,
think of when I hear discless is Clark Griswold's rant and the end of Christmas Vacation when he's like, heartless, dickless, spotty-livered, sack of monkey shit.
Yeah.
This is my favorite holiday movie ever.
That was a line from
So
Ghostbusters too. They were like, we were all doing fine until Dickless over here came in and shut the power off. I feel like the main PS5, like the disc drive one, has to be $500. Yeah,
I think so.
If it's over, it'll just be not a great look. It's not going to be a killer, but they don't want a PS3 situation, which was still a good console, but it got off to that weird start, and I think that hurt.
Also, that base
you could say the same about the
PS3
Xbox
was...
One.
Mm-hmm. And if you mess up the rollout, I think the Xbox One has showed it. I think the PS3 has showed it. It's hard to, you can come back, and I think both of those did, but yeah, it's just tough. You want to make a good first impression. So
yeah, I mean, you really want to make sure that you end up, you know, getting to profitability as quickly as possible, because then once you get to that point, then you can pivot.
Yeah.
Then you can be just like, okay, what can we change? What can we do differently? But, you know, it's like if you're floundering to, you know, reach, you know, your marketed profitability, you know, it's like, because you have this whole arc of here's where we're going to lose money. And then here at this date and time, we know we're going to make money if we match our projections.
That's right.
If anything goes wrong with that and you don't have that, then you need to like reevaluate everything.
Yeah.
And that's the big problem. So I'm expecting them to really just, it's softball. It really is. It's just like, we're going to bunt this, and we're going to make sure that everything goes smoothly for the next couple months. We're going to let all those big titles roll out. We're going to have actual games come out, and then we'll start talking about this and that and any changes we might need to make down the line. But they need to just make sure this is smooth. I mean, not to, you know, drop a downer on everything. still in the middle of a pandemic.
Yep.
People lost a lot of jobs. People don't have as much money to spend.
That's where
They
the
just need to make
$300
sure-
Series S, I think, is smart. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, they need to make sure that they are, aiming for profitability, because if they can't get there, then they're going to have to like really backpedal and start figuring out what to cut.
I do think profitability is also, it seems to me that it would be more important for Sony to get there quicker, because they are a much, much, much smaller company than Microsoft. Like Microsoft,
they stand to lose more.
Oh yeah. Both of them. I mean, Sony and Nintendo, they aren't. I mean, they're a fraction of the size of Microsoft.
Good old console wars. You'll love to see it.
I love it.
It's so wild to think about it in terms of the fact that the Series S costs the same as a Switch. That's insane.
Yeah, that's right.
That is absolutely bonkers.
It really is.
I just like how long has it been since a console from them has an Xbox ever been $300 at launch?
I don't even know. I don't know what the OG one was for. Or how much that one?
I don't know. Like older tech can go like both ways. It could have cost $250 or it could have cost $700.
Right.
It goes either way.
The original Xbox launched at $299 in 2001, which you got to adjust for inflation a little bit. Xbox 360 hit shelves.
That was
at
20 years
$20.99.
ago. Yeah.
Holy shit, Brian! Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah, the original Xbox launched 20 years ago.
Almost.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. That's
Brian,
wild.
Why do you only have me on the podcast to talk about Microsoft? I came on after the games announcement, then after the Halo thing was delayed,
I'm sorry.
and then after
me too, honestly. Every time.
No, I like being here. I'm just like, I guess I'm just kind of like becoming an Xbox person for centuries.
The other thing I will say is I think that both of these Xboxes have a bit of a problem, and I hear this from a lot of people. Well, I have a PC, so I don't need an Xbox.
Yeah, that would be me.
That's a strong
every podcast.
That's a strong argument. I mean, whereas with the PS5 and the Switch, it's like, nope, you need our stuff.
I have a PC right here, using it for all this. That is pretty comparable to the Xbox
PC with Game Pass. You're set.
Yeah, I got Game Pass Ultimate, and this will run everything that they've got going on. Do I care?
I can spend that $500 on a 3070 when it comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And get ray tracing and also 1440 gaming
and probably higher frame rates
and access to much better sales from your various storefronts than the console makers ever give.
Yeah. Well, it's funny as a PC gamer, which I'm still new to relatively, but I don't need an Xbox, but I still need Xbox, the company and brand, to exist.
Yeah. That's right. The important part. And Alana brings it up a lot. It's that it's Pierce? Not necessarily about Pierce. Yeah, no.
Still
it's
funny.
It really is. It's not necessarily about getting people to buy the box for Xbox at this point. It's really about, hey, here's our subscription service. Subscribe to this.
Totally. Yep.
Which is why they partnered up with EA to make all this happen in the first place, because that's what's going to bring people in. And, it is kind of a hum and haw thing. Our subscription service is good. Are they kind of predatory in a way? They are good, but they are still kind of predatory. It really is just, pick your villain, that you really want to focus on.
And they've talked about that a lot. We want you, Phil Spencer, I think almost said they're device agnostic, or just, if you want a new Xbox, that's great. We want to sell it to you, but our main thing is getting you on Game Pass.
Prove it to me. Put Game Pass on my Switch. And give me
hell yeah.
Give me Rare Replay on that so I can play Banjo-Kazooie on my Switch.
Wasn't there supposed to be some kind of Nintendo Microsoft partnership that was reported on?
They kind of hinted at that, and then they did with the Minecraft with the crossplay and we're being the cool companies playing together while Sony's being dicks about this, but never. And I think they talked a little bit, about putting, Xbox Live on the Switch and things like that. But and then everyone kind of backed off.
Yeah, they made this huge kind of list, we might be doing something Game Passy over on the Switch. And then back in July, they're just maybe,
I mean, that would be really cool if they could get that to work.
I mean, their whole thing, like
Awesome.
Spencer did say like multiple times through the course of the last like 2 years, we'd love to see Xbox Game Pass on all platforms. It's our long-term goal. That doesn't necessarily mean anything's going to happen, but everybody started going, well, you're putting a lot of stuff on the Switch. There's a lot of things that were exclusive to you. I mean, there's Minecraft Dungeons, or In the Blind Forest, new Super Lucky's Tale, stuff like that. I believe Hellblade made its way to the Switch at some point. That's a lot of like, Microsoft stuff that just subtly made its way over to the Switch. So it's not unlikely, but right now it's just kind of them saying, our goal is to be everywhere so that you can't avoid us.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Disneyland Adventures is on Game Pass.
Oh, what?
Oh my god.
That's the next IG Live.
Yeah, what I need from them now, instead of giving me more access to games, is to let me play them at 1.5 speed, like one of those psychopaths that does that podcasts.
Yes.
Because I just have, I want to be excited about new games and about Game Pass, and I want to play more Game Pass games, but I'm constantly just like, as soon as I boot up my PC, it's like, my backlog is just like staring out at me like a neglected child. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just so tired by the end of the day. And I just want to watch The Sopranos.
Yeah, respect. Isn't there a term for that? Like it's like the paralyzing of choice or something, like basically if you have too many options.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Netflix, I mean, how often have you just cruised through looking for the perfect movie to watch?
Right. And then, okay, well,
and then
I'm not
you end
going
up
to do
doing
anything.
nothing. Yeah. I have a I have a 600 and something game backlog. And I'm just like, well, I'm just never going to be able to do that.
Right.
I'm just never going to be able to do it.
How many of them are visual novels?
Okay, like probably 30, but still.
I'm hitting that point to where it's like, I don't have enough years left in my life to play all these games.
I still haven't played Dragon Quest 11. I have it. It's there.
Caden.
And I know.
Hold on, I'm going to remove you from the podcast.
But isn't it? I mean, there's another version of that game coming too. So it's just like, well, maybe I'll wait for the next
Switch.
version.
The best version is on the Switch.
Arguably true. Okay, arguably true.
Just so
it has
far
16-bit mode. Come on.
Oh my god.
How dare I?
Can you imagine?
So good.
I think I need to put an Xbox in my living room and play No Man's Sky from the start.
It's a good game. I love No Man's Sky.
There you go. All right, we are going to get to the other stories in just a second, but first, let's talk. Everybody, Samsung, and they have an amazing new product out. Have y'all heard about this new phone, the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G?
Yeah, actually, I my partner's an artist, so we actually took a look at it, and this thing's phenomenal. Like, it's so great. If you're any kind of artist and you're looking for a new tablet, there's a bunch of different tablets out there. This kind of mitigates all of that and does everything you need it to do. And it's also, a phone.
Yeah, it's powered by AT&T 5G. It's available now. Now, we have to say AT&T 5G requires a compatible plan and coverage, not in all areas. But if you're in that coverage, check out these features. Cloud gaming, we've talked a lot about that. I mean, your xCloud, your Stadia, it's going to be available with the power of 5G. Yeah.
That's my concern about mobile game streaming, and that would not be a problem at all.
That solves every problem right there.
That's a little console in your pocket right there.
You could take that to the bank and play it.
That's right. Try out cloud gaming with high performance experiences. Again, with the AT&T 5G, the latency is probably not going to be as big of an issue. Also, the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G has 120 hertz adaptive display that automatically adjusts the refresh rate according to the content you're viewing. That's awesome, and I love this part. An intelligent battery, finally a smart battery that optimizes for your gameplay.
That is good. Have you used a 120 hertz phone, Brian? Have you played with one before?
I have not yet. Well, wait, no, I played with the display.
It really is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you really don't realize what you've been missing until you see it, and you're just like,
to Connor's point, when you see it, you will just be like, Oh, what have I been looking at? A
whole
dinosaur
new
phone?
world. Yeah,
Right, because it
exactly.
literally can't be captured on camera.
It's one of those things like, and then once you do it, you realize I can't go back to the old way ever again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get a smooth gaming experience, virtually no lag. Again, that's hugely important with cloud gaming. Check out the S Pen and Samsung Notes to create your own works of art, as Caden was alluding to. And yeah, that's cool though about the adaptive display. I got to check that out. Y'all have gotten me like stoked about this now.
It's real good. It's
High
real
refresh
good.
rates. You'll just want to scroll through apps and do nothing else.
Oh, I already do that, but I look forward to being totally consumed by my phone at all times. Here's what you need to do. Head over to att.com/Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G to learn how you can get the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 5G for free, or the Galaxy Note 20 5G Ultra for $299.99 for a limited time. And thanks to Samsung and AT&T for sponsoring this podcast. And one more thing, let's talk about our old friends, ExpressVPN. They're back. I love them. They have supported this channel through so much. We love them. Guys, why use ExpressVPN? Well, it lets you access the internet as if you're from a different country. Netflix has different shows and movies depending on where you are. With ExpressVPN, you can unlock thousands of new shows and movies from streaming libraries across the globe. It's available on every device, phones, laptops, tablets, even your TV. You can stream everything in HD quality with zero buffering. It works with so much stuff: Netflix, Amazon, Prime, BBC, iPlayer, YouTube, more. Choose from almost 100 different countries. Easy to use. Just fire up the ExpressVPN app, change your location, hit connect, and refresh the page, and the show or movie you want to watch will magically appear. I like ExpressVPN. I use them all the time just to keep my internet privacy safe. I don't want anybody looking at my stuff. But there's so many things, obviously, that you can use a VPN for, like this. Guys, if you use my link right now at expressvpn.com/sendnews, one word, you can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. That's expressvpn.com/sendnews, SENDNEWS, all one word. Go there. You can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Thank you to ExpressVPN. We love you. All right, let's move on to other stories. GameStop. Things are bad and they're getting worse. They're closing hundreds of stores this year. And they had already said, now in fairness, going in, they said in March that we're going to close, I think, like 300 some odd stores. They came back yesterday, or early this week, rather, in the earnings report, and they said, it's going to be more like 400 and 450. They're currently at, just to give you a scope of how much they are contracting, it's currently about 5,100 GameStops worldwide, 600 fewer than last year.
That is,
yeah, it's a lot. They've already closed 388 stores this year, so it's a bummer in the sense of your heart goes out to the people who work there, obviously the frontline people. It's just that the business is not great, and then the pandemic hit, and they handled that very questionably, to say the least.
Yeah, not great.
They've been handling a lot of they handled the transition to the digital era pretty terribly. And then they turned into, hey, welcome to GameStop. Would you like to buy 400,000 Funko Pops? It's like, that's right. No, thank you. I would not like to do that.
It's kind of weird to look back at GameStop's actions at the beginning of the pandemic and the quarantine, because it was so much easier to be like, they're bad, they're evil, and they're doing these things for profit, and they're putting people at risk. And I still think that, and I think you would agree, but to be now here 6 months later, when so many governments, companies, and everything has been poorly responding to it in the US, it's just like, the GameStop was not the exception.
GameStop was just at the front line.
GameStop was ahead of the curve. Indoor dining is opening again in Orange County. It's just it's so I don't know. It felt a lot easier to talk about it
in April.
In April,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
When it was just like, hey, we're supposed to all be hunkering down. That was when the first stimulus check was coming around. It seemed like things were
Yeah, let's
bad,
all sit
but-
tight for a little
Right,
while.
yeah,
We'll get
and
this under
then-
control. Yeah.
right, and then no federal support came, and then local mayors,
Right. Everything
City
kind of like,
opened up California and you know other states, and then like the spike happened, and it's just like to see GameStop operating now is almost like, well, yeah, that's just what companies do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good contextual point. And I should also add, when we rip on GameStop for how they acted during the pandemic, we are talking about GameStop leadership.
Oh,
not the
No.
I hear from a lot of people in our community who might work at GameStop, and we have tons of people at RT who have worked at GameStops. You
Right
guys
here.
are great. Yeah. Y'all are great. Y'all are working hard.
you're in
and-
customer service, baby.
Right.
That thing is the most thankless job
That
in the
is so-
world.
Right. The
It's just
abuse
like-
you have to put up with sometimes, and you're kind of in it for the love of the game, so to speak. No pun
how many
intended.
people, it's like it's like during the heyday of the meme, how many people called up? It's like, oh, you got Battletoads?
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's a funny joke until you realize that, your bro is the person you're punking
Yeah.
at the GameStop. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Charles, is that you? It's like, oh man, I'm sorry. It's just like it's another person that's just like, it's like they're losing a job, which sucks. And the job was mostly thankless to begin with because you're in a place and people weren't listening to quarantine at all, coming in, touching everything,
That's right.
sneezing all over the game boxes, spreading
That's
spreading everything like the plague that it is. And it's just like these people were on the front line. They still are. And
yeah,
it's
and-
not about them. It's about, big business Billy up here who's just like, well, you don't have a job anymore.
Absolutely right. We're talking about the people at the top making millions for kicking you out and closing down your store. So I always want to make that clear. But yeah, it has not been a great year for them, and things were already not great. 2019 wasn't great. So the trends are working against them. The coronavirus just made it a million times worse. Their online sales skyrocketed, like they were up 800%, but that's still only like a fraction of their overall sales. And GameStop, their business model is getting you into the store and
Yes.
getting you into like Caden alluded to, like buying a Funko Pop or something. That's where they make their money.
They want an impulse buy. The impulse
That's
buy is
right.
where they
Yeah.
make their money. It's
Absolutely.
not the games. They don't make anything off of new
No.
games. They make
No.
everything off of used stuff and impulse buys.
GameStop makes all their money in concessions, not
Yep.
ticket sales.
I worked in a movie theater. That is true. The popcorn was the moneymaker and the soda.
It's funny. I am going today to a GameStop for the first time in years. Today of all days.
There you go.
Oh no.
Because I need an Xbox controller dongle for my PC, and it was the closest place that had next day pickup. We were talking about this on the daily. Like nobody goes to GameStop.com. Like those online sales are just for the odd thing. That's just like, oh, there's the deal. It happens to be at GameStop.
Yeah, if you see like Cheap Ass Gamer or something, or Wario 64 linked to like some crazy deal they're running, you're like, okay, all right, GameStop. No, I'm still just going to register as a guest account, but yeah, I'll buy something from you. But the what they have been waiting on is the next console generation, and so this holiday is going to be ideally good for them because people still buy hardware in person. Well, some people do. I mean, some people buy them off Amazon or whatever. But this theoretically is going to work to GameStop's favor, where people are going to come into the store for an Xbox One X or a PS5 or an Xbox One S. And then they get you. Then you're like, oh, maybe I want this or that.
That's not something I want shipped to my door.
Oh, see,
That's
I've
something that I'm
had
going to
new
do.
consoles shipped, but I see what you're saying. They're
Yeah,
shipped. They're shipped anyway. That's how they got to the store.
The last big purchase that I got, anytime I get like a big tech purchase, I'll try to send it to an Amazon locker when I was buying stuff on Amazon,
Yeah.
or go pick it up at a Best Buy, because I don't want to get like a laptop delivered to my front door when I'm not there.
And
I just-
someone just throwing it to the ground because they
Yeah.
don't care. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But
Although, I mean, I typically have more distrust of just like random ass people than the delivery driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we're all home now. I mean, there's no reason not to just order the darn thing right to you. I
Right.
mean, I ended up getting a small table and putting it out there because I'm just like, well, it's just easier for them to put the packages on the table. They see it, they're like,
And
"Oh,
with
package goes
COVID and
here."
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
you have a bowl of candy and a sign that says "Take one." And then there's just an unassuming scarecrow lying next to it.
I literally
only
have
take
driver
one
takes two.
Butterfingers. They're very
I literally have a thank you
Take
sign
one
out there
Werther's
right
Original.
next to the table. That's what I have out there. It's like, thank you for everything you're doing. Little table. And it's like, packages go here.
That's
and that's
nice.
pretty much it. But I mean, the last time I bought a console in person kind of ruined the console buying experience thing for me. It was a Wii U. So I decided, no, I'll just buy it online from then on. So since this past generation, every console I've bought has been, shipped directly to me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, really isn't any different.
I get that. The thing I do, and again, this is not the employee's fault, but the thing I hate, and this is not just GameStop, Best Buy does this all the upselling or all the like the kind of additional offers they have to do, the protection plans, all this. I hate that stuff.
Yeah. You know what's nuts?
And again, I know you have to
upselling.
do it. People who work there.
Yeah, that's
But
where
seeing the upselling come to online is weird. Like I bought that thing from Game Pass or GameStop online, and it was just like, you're eligible for a free month of HelloFresh. And then you like dismiss that, and it's like, hey, have you ever used Pandora Premium? And it's like, what the hell is this? And you don't even have to, it's positioned like, oh, these are the things you click through next. It's like, no, your order's already placed. You can close the tab. So it's just like noise being thrown at you. It is like being
I don't
in a
want
store.
this. Go away.
Do you, can I interest in your Power Plus Pro rewards? We just need your email and your phone number.
But those orders from corporate come in like a ton of bricks. I even remember, again, one more time from the movie theater days, if you ordered a medium soda, we had to say, would you like a large for 50 cents more? And if you didn't, and at one point it got to where if you didn't say that and you got caught, you were fired. Like literally, we lost like a long time employee who everyone loved because he didn't upsell.
Upselling is so, sometimes managers are so blind to shit, because I worked at a Panera knockoff and I got in trouble for not upselling enough soup in July.
It's
what
July.
the fuck are you talking about? Nobody wants soup. It's hot as shit in Philadelphia right now. Nobody wants a fucking soup. Good Lord.
Nobody wants soup in Texas ever. It's 100 degrees all.
Not a soup state.
I love it. Yeah.
Not a soup state.
They opened up a Panera like just before the pandemic, and you see everybody going in there and they're just like, would you like some soup? This is like, fuck no, absolutely not.
We had to do that.
I want a bread bowl filled with croutons.
I remember when I was at a Blockbuster, we had to greet everybody. So you had to shout across the Blockbuster to somebody who's just coming in and like startle them. Hey, welcome to Blockbuster. I hate it.
Please scare the shit out of your
behind a cardboard display cutout of Austin Powers. Hi, how's it going?
Please
Do I make you Randy?
Please draw attention to someone who's just there for Dances with Wolves. Like,
look, buy the candy.
Or the softcore category.
Yes.
Buy the fucking candy, please.
The Andy Sedaris collection. Yes.
Yeah. Go behind the velvet rope, as it were.
Y'all are too young. Y'all are too young. But yeah, like some video stores back in like the 80s, used to have a separate room for that stuff. You go into the bad room.
Exotic.
Bad room. You don't want to go in there, mister.
This is daddy's room, okay?
And a 10-year-old BG was like, oh, yes, I do. But yeah, it's a bummer. And I feel like they're trying to hang on until the release of the next gen consoles. Not that that's going to save them, because nothing can save them, I don't think, long term.
No, it's just
but I think
it's over.
It's a managed decline is what they're in right now. And so they're just going to try to steer this thing down and lose as little money as possible.
You know what I think they should do? They should close all the stores, all 5,000 or so. Yeah. Buy out the old Toys R Us space in Times Square, and make a super GameStop and go out of business in 3 months.
That would be tight.
That's called business speed running. That's
the
a bankruptcy
cool.
speed
the
runs.
Tower Records model or whatever.
Yeah.
The Mall of America.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I remember going to the Tower Records with my dad. It was like a fucking 40-foot escalator down this cavernous,
Yup.
like, it was just like, who designed this?
It was
this is like the fortress of, this is like a Lex Luthor cave.
Yeah, that we had one in college, like right by campus, like the big drag off campus, and it was huge.
Yeah.
And it was kind of impressive looking. It was a very impressive way to spend $17.99 for a CD.
I think it's cool. I mean, you look at the way Kmart looked at the end. It was just like fucking derelict and like dirty and
Sears
sucked.
and shit.
Yeah, Sears looked just rough. Just it felt like there was just like boxes everywhere, and it's just like, is that a rat?
Yeah, it sort of looked like the store had been looted, but it hadn't.
Yeah,
been.
but you gotta go for broke. You gotta have like fucking FYE was great.
FYE.
And it used to be, what was it before
FYE?
it was FYE?
Oh, Suncoast?
Maybe. But even so, just like extravagant, multi-floored, all kinds of shit you could imagine. Just like a cutout of like Michael Madsen for some reason. It's just like, he's even in anything this year. And it's just like, and then one day it disappears.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
just fucking,
that's how I feel like the last time I went to a JC Penney's, which was like middle class Dillard's.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? But yeah, once it went down for them, like it went down. Like there'd be like a random fire burning in the corner or something.
just like a group of old men playing dice in the entrance.
Yeah, there's like a WWF T-shirt from Stone Cold Steve Austin from 1997. Yeah,
a plate set from 1972. Yeah, still pristine.
Yeah, they're still selling VCRs.
Yeah, DV tapes by the dozen.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, all right. Let's go to the questions. I feel let's land this ship. Hold on. Let me pull.
Is
I'm
that
gonna
how?
go.
I guess it's more of a space thing. That's a space metaphor.
That's true. That's true. We got all these from our Twitter handle at Inside Gaming. Let's see. Okay, this one's from Rob F. Do you think why a lot of the Mario 35 content is ending at the end of March is because Nintendo is getting ready for the Switch Pro release and are going to roll right into Zelda 35 content? They did file that patent, might get a Zelda 35 Switch Pro like with the Majora's Mask new 3DS. So there's some backstory to what Rob F is talking about here. And a lot of the Mario 35th anniversary, they have rolled into March. I think they made this announcement a lot later in the year than they wanted to, probably because of COVID. Honestly, I think COVID is why they delayed it, personally.
Do you think, and this is kind of like nightmare scenario, but do you think Nintendo will release a Switch Pro and then make people buy optimized versions of the games they already own?
Oh,
like a Wii Motion Plus kind of thing. Like that feels a little bit much for even them.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Given how I would hope not.
But what if they take the Mario 35 off the shelves and then a week later have Mario 3D All Stars HD?
Oh, see, you say it like that. You say it like that.
I hope not. Like, now I am.
See, it's just like, well, you can't get
I'm
Pikmin
sorry,
2
I'm sorry,
anymore.
okay.
You could get Pikmin 2 with Wii Motion. It's like with new motion control nonsense. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I don't think that they're gonna release. I have no idea. Nintendo's such a like. What are you doing?
My only frame of reference was the new 3DS. The kind of beefier. It could play things a little bit better, but they didn't really release that many games for the new 3DS. There was like Xenoblade Chronicles. So
and that's about it.
Yeah,
that's
literally the only thing I can think of. Yeah,
Majora's Mask had the ability to use stuff with it because that was just like, look, we had features. You don't need it though.
It was a little bit quicker. Yeah.
I mean, not gonna lie, I love mine. It's modded to be a capture device, so I really love it. But I mean,
your 3DS?
Yeah, my 3DS has got a capture card in it, baby, right there.
That is amazing.
That's pretty boss, actually.
Yeah. It's great. They don't make them anymore, and they don't make the boards for it anymore. So it's a rarity, and I'm very happy I have it.
I wish I could be there in person to whistle and go. Don't make them like this anymore.
But I don't think that they're going to do something like that as far as it's like, a Switch Pro branded, Zelda 3D5 thing. But I mean, Zelda 3D5 will probably be a thing that they release. But Nintendo's weird with what they do. Like all of their stuff is, we're putting an arbitrary date on this. Why? Because we did. We said that we were going to do it.
But the end of March is also the end of their fiscal year, so I think there is a financial reason there. My personal feeling,
the shelves.
My personal thought is that the Switch Pro is them trying to do like a soft hardware refresh of the Switch, and to try to keep it. The Switch has been a huge success. 61 million copies shipped in what, 3.5 years. I think they're, but even when it released, it was dated. Like the hardware was dated, so I think they're just going to try to keep it as least moldy as possible.
Yeah, proves you don't need a powerful console to sell.
No,
I think the Mario thing is very much like the Disney Vault thing, like we've talked about a little bit on the daily, just like that artificial scarcity. I think that they're going to lean into that.
Yes.
Do you lose access to it after you buy it? If you buy it, you don't lose access to it.
I would think that would be
surely
insane.
not.
I don't think so.
That's like one thing. Fraud.
I think the point is you have it, so those who don't are envious.
But the fact that that's even a question is a problem.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, it's so, the wording was so, it's like, it's like after March, it goes away. It's like, what if I bought it digitally? What do I do?
That would be insane.
What if this? I mean, you say that, but this is the digital era. Things will just go away.
You're right.
That's kind of the downside of everything.
Yeah, so, I mean, I actually was thinking about that. I'm going to probably buy this physical in case something happens to my account.
I agree, like 100%. This is the thing that's like, I'm going to buy it physical too whenever it goes back in stock.
I don't buy anything physical.
That is worth buying physical. Yeah, you're totally right.
Because Mario Sunshine is one of my favorite games of all time, and
Thank
I've been waiting so long
you
for it to come. You're welcome. First of all, but I've been waiting for it so long to come.
Made it myself.
Somewhere I can play it, so I don't want to risk losing it if anything happens to my Nintendo account. Also, I will say those Super Mario Suns, because they're doing shoes with Puma for Galaxy and Sunshine as well, not just 64. Fucking nice. Those Mario Sunshine shoes.
I don't know if
not as bad.
I don't know if I
don't
ever
like the 64 ones.
I don't know if I ever finished Sunshine.
It's great.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's like really good.
That's one of those
people
gaps.
shit on it because they're just like, well, it's not quite. It's like it's new and it was different and it actually they didn't pick that up again. They did it one time.
Mario,
once.
you must clean up Delfino Plaza.
Right.
Bom bom bom.
Mario.
Eco-friendly Mario.
So great.
But yeah, you're right. They had the water pack and then it never came back again. That was it.
Except for in Smash, and that's
they do
it.
that though.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Because like Galaxy, I guess they revisited it, but like I doubt we'll see Cappy again.
True.
Yeah, it's true.
That's right.
That's the cool thing about like
Nintendo. They're just like, here it is. Here's the idea.
Yeah, we're gonna have
do it again.
Great 3D platforming controls, and then we'll add a layer of gameplay to it. And then when we're done with it, we're done with it.
All right, let's ask. Let's let other people ask questions. Benjamin Klieger asks, at what point does Microsoft's focus on games running on as many console SKUs as possible hinder meaningful innovation? I'm not talking about graphics, but mechanics. Think Nemesis System 2.0. Halo Infinite is the platform for Halo's future and has to run on a 7-year-old console. Yeah, that's a criticism that people have made. And that's the problem when you're device agnostic like that, too.
I think it just generally encourages people to, especially if with that, like, you're a part of the service thing. It's just like, when you upgrade, and all your stuff comes with you. There is no like worry about that. So it's like you're concerned about, it's like they even said there's a bunch of things that just aren't going to translate. It's like, yeah, you can play on PC or Xbox, the Xbox Series S or X, but not the One X. So there is a hard stop at this.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be as big of an issue as you think it is, mostly because there is always that. I mean, Breath of the Wild you brought it up earlier, Brian. It's on the Wii U, runs pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
Same game.
But that game's like a 7 gig install and
it's true.
Pretty low rent. And technically, not so much an achievement as it is design. Well, I guess it is a technical achievement that such a big game fits in a tiny package, but also so much of it was about design.
And it's still the kind of cartoony Nintendo style too. I mean, it's
and,
great. It's an amazing game.
I mean, they're talking about not necessarily graphics, but like with mechanics and stuff. There's no reason that like mechanics need to be held back by hardware.
I don't really understand
indie games do it all the time.
Right.
I think the only way I could see a mechanic being held back by a system's performance is when it comes to like simulation.
There was one game
that's super intensive in like the Hitman games and stuff.
Right. There was
the amount of people you can just have on screen, but I feel like the Nemesis system is a matter of implementation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that's not really a hardware issue. Yeah.
There's one game that's coming out. I think it's by Bloober Team that's coming out for the Series X and PC, and it's not coming out for the Xbox One X because they just couldn't do it on that, and it's having 2 full game experiences running side by side at the exact same time. So in that, it's not necessarily graphics,
medium.
but it's medium. Thank you.
Wait, that's not.
They have.
Oh,
it's
I thought
running.
all first-party games were coming to the X. What are the One S?
I don't think it's coming to the One X. Based off of the SKU that it had, it looked like it was one of the few games that just said PC and Xbox Series X, not One X. But I mean, in that case, that is all about power. The innovation is that you're running 2 things at the exact same time, and it's 2 full game experiences, and it's rendering everything uniquely on basically 2 sides of the screen, and it's 2 separate experiences, and that takes a lot of power to it. So maybe in that regard, but I don't think a lot of people are going to be leaning into that.
Yeah, I don't have like
I don't think it is planned for the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Where that they've been making such blanket statements.
I mean,
let's do one more real quick.
Exclusive.
Devout Frenzy asks, do you think the more time Xbox has over Sony when it comes to official price/date impacts buying decisions? Meaning, I think that Xbox has obviously already given price and date info, and Sony hasn't, at least at the time we recorded this. Or will it just come down to what is cheaper for the general consumer when they actually launch? So does Xbox and Microsoft get a benefit from kind of going first on this? Does that impact buying decisions? I do think the $300 price point is going to have somewhat of an impact for some people. Yeah.
I think the price point will. I don't even think being first out of the gate is
No.
going to.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
It's all about messaging.
Yeah, if I were Sony, I would have come out today with pricing info and just
Cut
like
the
right
Microsoft
out.
talk short.
Just absolutely, because they already went. They shot their shot, and then you can just kind of upstage them immediately. But I'll bet they'll do it sooner rather than later now, because almost everyone else's cards are on the table. So yeah. But no, I don't think it'll have that much.
Big agree.
Impact. Yep. Okay, well, that is the show, the podcast this week. We hope you have a great week of gaming, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Go watch the Dune trailer.
The rumors were true. Yeah, this has been long predicted, but even then, Nintendo managed to drop some surprises on us. You guys probably have seen the Direct at this point, but the headline was the Mario 3D collection with Mario 64,